Fascinating. The Minnesota Vikings were on the brink of a potential Super Bowl run last year, the way they had that season, 14 wins with Sam Darnold at quarterback. Now they're trusting a 14-win team to the hands of not just a rookie, I would suggest, somebody that hasn't played a snap, but somebody that missed the entirety of last season with injury. Are they putting too much faith in their quarterback, JJ McCarthy?
In this Minnesota Vikings team, they are a Ferrari. They have one of the best rosters in all of football. And they wouldn't put him in this situation if they didn't trust him and believe in the team around him. So I think it's just the right amount of faith.
Heading into the 2024 NFL Draft, JJ McCarthy was one of the most exciting yet polarizing prospects on the board. Coming out of Michigan under Jim Harbaugh's run-heavy offense, critics question whether McCarthy had the arm talent, consistency, and command to thrive at the next level. But what's not a question? JJ McCarthy is a winner. That's what he was in high school. That's what he was in college. And that's exactly what he's going to be in the NFL. He led the entire NCAA in winning percentage, racking up a jaw-dropping 63-3 record across high school and college. That level of success is not a fluke. It's a mindset. It's leadership. It's preparation. And now he's stepping into another system built for success under 2024 Coach of the Year Kevin O'Connell, with what many are calling the most complete roster in the entire league. JJ McCarthy is the missing piece for this offense, and this is why he will bring the Minnesota Vikings their first ever Lombardi Trophy. Coming into his rookie season, the expectations were sky high for McCarthy on this Minnesota Vikings team. But just as the excitement was building, disaster struck. In his first ever preseason game against the Raiders, McCarthy tore his meniscus in his right knee, an injury that required multiple surgeries and sidelined him for the entire 2024 season. With McCarthy out, the Vikings had no choice but to turn to veteran Sam Darnold. And against all odds, he delivered, guiding Minnesota to an impressive 14-win season. But that run came to a crashing halt in the wild card round, with Darnold seeing ghosts in a tough loss to the Rams. Now as the 2025 season approaches, all eyes are once again on McCarthy. Is it too much pressure for a young quarterback to step in and take the reins of a top 10 scoring offense? Maybe for some, but not for McCarthy. This is a player who's thrived under pressure his entire life. And now, finally healthy, he's ready to prove that the future in Minnesota runs through him. Alrighty guys, drop a like on this video if you're excited about JJ McCarthy and the Vikings this season, and actually let me know in the comments how you think it's going to play out. Do you think they'll be, playoff or even Super Bowl contenders this year? Either way, let me know down below in the comments. So we're kicking things off here with a deep dive into JJ McCarthy's incredible college journey. A former 5-star recruit, he made headlines early by leading powerhouse IMG Academy to an undefeated season and a national championship. From there, he took his talents to Michigan, where he spent his freshman year learning as the backup. But it didn't take long for McCarthy to make his mark. As a sophomore, he seized the starting job and never looked back. He led the Wolverines to a perfect regular season and delivered a Big Ten championship, solidifying himself as one of the top quarterbacks in the nation. And heading into his junior season, McCarthy received the ultimate boost, a coaching upgrade, to none other than the legendary Jim Harbaugh. Surrounded by elite talent, and now paired with one of the greatest football minds of his era, McCarthy was primed to explode in 2023. And that's exactly what he did. He balled out, not just matching, but surpassing his previous success, and led the Michigan Wolverines to yet another undefeated regular season. His leadership, poise, and precision earned him Big Ten Quarterback of the Year, cementing his place among college football's elite. He ended his collegiate career with 6,226 yards, with 49 touchdowns, and only 11 interceptions through his 3 seasons at Michigan. Keep in mind his freshman year he was the backup and only had about 516 yards on 59 attempts. But even with the resume that screams success, McCarthy's game has sparked controversy. Critics and analysts alike have questioned whether he was the true engine behind Michigan's dominance, or simply a passenger in Harbaugh's well-oiled machine. They point to Blake Corum as the real star, labeling McCarthy a game manager at best, someone who doesn't have the arm talent, creativity, or the it factor to be a true franchise quarterback at the next level. JJ McCarthy had his defining moment on the biggest stage of his college career, the 2023 Rose Bowl, against none other than Nick Saban's Alabama. Under the brightest lights, and against one of the most legendary defensive minds in college football history, McCarthy rose to the occasion. He delivered a clutch overtime victory with 221 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, proving he wasn't just a game manager, he was a game changer. That performance didn't just silence the critics, it earned him Rose Bowl MVP honors and stamped his name in college football history.
Now we're focusing in on McCarthy. Are you buying him as a top 5
No,
pick?
God, no. I don't like McCarthy at all. Did you see the Penn State game this year? Well, hold on. Penn State this year, he didn't throw a pass in the second half. In his career at Michigan, he's thrown
25 points.
They didn't throw a pass. They didn't even trust him to throw a pass.
Class. Weren't you, Chase, help me out here, 5th quarterback taken?
Yeah, 5th.
I think he was the 5th quarterback taken. So it's not as though you were even that great in college. You weren't the feature of your college team. That was Blake Corum. You weren't the feature player of your college team. That was a running-based offense. So,
fresh off a national championship, McCarthy made the bold decision to declare for the 2024 NFL Draft, a class loaded with top-tier quarterback talent. With 6 QBs taken in the first round, he stepped into one of the most competitive QB classes in recent memory. And that's what makes his choice even more impressive. McCarthy could have waited until 2025, a much weaker class, where he likely would have been the consensus #1 pick over guys like Jackson Dart and Cam Ward. But instead, he bet on himself. And that tells you everything you need to know about who JJ McCarthy really is. Leading up to the 2024 NFL Draft, there was no debate at the top. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Drake May were the clear-cut top 3 picks, but as the first round unfolded, every remaining quarterback prospect came with their own set of question marks. For McCarthy, the biggest concern was his lack of volume in Michigan's run-heavy offense. He had by far the fewest pass attempts of any top QB in the class, raising doubts about whether he could carry an NFL offense. But what McCarthy did with those limited opportunities was nothing short of elite. He wasn't just efficient, he was the most efficient quarterback in the draft. And when it comes to the trait that matters the most at the next level, he delivered. McCarthy won. Like a lot. In fact, he won 96.4% of his starts, the highest win percentage of any quarterback prospect that I could think of. Say what you want about the system, but when the lights were bright, JJ showed up and delivered. And now he's ready to bring the same winning mentality to the NFL. The Minnesota Vikings had one main priority for this draft: select a QB in the first round on a rookie scale contract, and the Vikings front office has built this roster around this for the past few years. And at just 21 years old, McCarthy was the youngest quarterback in the class, but also the most NFL ready. Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell knew exactly who he wanted leading his offense, and he was not going to leave it to chance. When the Atlanta Falcons shocked the football world by drafting Michael Penix Jr. at number 9, just weeks after handing Cousins a massive 4-year deal, the Vikings made a bold move, trading up from pick 11 to 10 to secure their quarterback of the future, JJ McCarthy.
Minnesota Vikings, who just traded up one spot by giving up 129 and 157.
With the 10th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select
JJ McCarthy,
quarterback, Michigan.
One love, right?
My dog.
My dog.
Come on.
Let's go.
Come on. Let's go, man. Ready to get to work.
All right, brother. Here's Coach O'Connell. My man. We're going to go do this damn thing together. Can't wait to get you here.
Let's go do it, Coach. Thank you so much for believing in me. I promise I won't let you down.
Congrats to you and your family, brother. I'm so happy for you, man. Can't wait to get you here.
Thank you so much. Can't wait to see you soon, Coach.
Sure. I'm thrilled. You know, I got to watch him play from across the sideline.
Heading into the 2025 season, Kevin O'Connell has made one thing crystal clear. We are fully committed to setting JJ McCarthy up for success. And it starts with fixing what held them back last year, the run game. In 2024, Minnesota's rushing attack ranked just 20th in the league, far from ideal for a rookie quarterback. But they wasted no time retooling that part of the offense. The Vikings made it a top priority this offseason, and the moves reflect it. They added Jordan Mason, who turned heads in San Francisco last year, filling in for an injured Christian McCaffrey. He brings power, vision, and physicality to the backfield. Then came the upgrades to the trenches. The Vikings signed right guard Will Fries to a massive 5-year, $88 million deal, and brought in veteran center Ryan Kelly on a 2-year, $18 million contract. Both are former Colts, who helped anchor one of the NFL's most reliable offensive lines when healthy. And to fortify their offensive line, the Vikings used the 24th pick to draft standout left guard Donovan Jackson out of Ohio State, a powerful, NFL-ready blocker who immediately fills a glaring need from last season. These reinforcements should create immediate impact, with Aaron Jones as the shifty pass-catching back and Mason as the bruising inside runner. Minnesota now has a deadly 1-2 punch that can keep defenses honest. Expect Jones to shine in outside zone schemes and the short passing game, while Mason handles inside runs and red zone touches. This balanced, versatile ground game will take pressure off McCarthy, control the clock, wear down defenses, and open up big play action opportunities. And let's not forget, McCarthy is at his absolute best in a system that leans on play action and rhythm throws. The Vikings aren't just building around their rookie quarterback, they're building a system designed to win now.
I really envisioned you and Aaron from the very beginning.
It's a surreal moment. It's a great day for my family. It's just a great day for everything. All the work I've been putting in, and, it's finally paying off.
The Minnesota Vikings already had one of the most dangerous passing attacks in the NFL last season. And now with McCarthy stepping in as the starting quarterback, things are about to go to a whole nother level. McCarthy has proven he can handle the spotlight, showing poise and leadership in the biggest moments of his college career. After spending 2024 developing behind the scenes and building chemistry with his star-studded offense, he's now ready to take full control, and I believe this unit will explode out of the gate in 2025. Alright, let's talk weapons. First off, McCarthy gets to throw to Justin Jefferson, arguably the best receiver in all of football. He has topped 1,400 yards in 4 of his 5 seasons. He's a 4-time Pro Bowler, and he took home AP Offensive Player of the Year in 2022. Simply put, this JJ to JJ connection is going to be something special. And on the other side of the ball, you've got Jordan Addison, a certified touchdown machine with 19 scores in just 2 seasons. Added in TJ Hockenson, one of the top tight ends in the league. With elite versatility in both blocking and the pass-catching game, you also have Aaron Jones in the backfield. He's a dynamic pass-catching threat as well. They used their 102nd pick in the 3rd round of this year's draft on Ty Felton, a wide receiver out of Maryland. He led the Big Ten Conference in receptions and receiving yards in 2024. He's a smaller but speedy receiver with the 4.37 40-yard dash. He thrives as a deep threat, most likely playing largely in the slot. If it all goes as planned, he will be the replacement for Jalen Nailor as the number 3 receiver, as it is Nailor's final year in his rookie contract. And with McCarthy at the helm, the Vikings aren't just looking good, they're looking dangerous.
Being here last year, I got to know him a lot last year, but, of course, him being my quarterback this year, being able to talk to him more, just pick his brain a little bit more, see what he likes, what he doesn't like, how he throws the ball, all of that is a big factor into a quarterback. So just trying to learn every bit that I can, even off the field, just trying to, chop it up and make sure, we're well connected.
In 2024, the Vikings defense quietly put together a solid campaign, finishing 12th overall in the NFL. Under defensive coordinator Brian Flores, they led the league in blitz rate and showed real flashes of brilliance when it came to generating pressure and forcing turnovers. But one glaring weakness that held them back, the passing defense. The Vikings ranked just 28th against the pass, giving up a rough 242 yards per game through the air. That simply is just not going to cut it. Fast forward to now, 2025, and this unit looks completely reloaded. With Flores returning and the front office making bold moves this offseason, this defense is poised to break into the NFL's elite. Minnesota went all in on the trenches this year, signing star defensive tackles Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave, 2 of the league's best interior pass rushers. With that kind of talent up front, the Vikings should not need to blitz nearly as aggressively as they did last year, which means more defenders can drop into coverage and help lock down that secondary. They also added much-needed depth at cornerback, bringing in Isaiah Rodgers from the Eagles, a speedy, aggressive cover man with starting experience in the NFL. They signed him to a 2-year, $11 million contract, showing they see him as a contributor on the defense and a possible starter. But he can also contribute in special teams with solid tape as a kick returner as well. And you can't sleep on the rookies. I mean, we didn't have a whole lot of picks this year, but we had enough to make some moves. In the 5th round, the Vikings snagged Tyron Ingram Dawkins out of Georgia. Now, I could be botching his name, so please excuse me if I am, but he's a versatile defensive lineman who can play both inside and out. Over his 37-game career at Georgia, he totaled 12.5 tackles for a loss, 4 sacks, and 7 QB hits. He's a raw but high upside weapon Flores can plug in anywhere across the line. Then in the 6th round, they added a hard-hitting linebacker, Kobe King, out of Penn State. At 6'1", 240 pounds, King is a downhill thumper who started 27 games in college, racking up over 200 tackles. GM Kwesi Mensah called him a knockback impact tackler and believes he is a real starting potential down the line. All signs point to this defense being not just improved, but dominant. With Flores at the helm, a rebuilt front 7, improved depth in the secondary, and young talent ready to contribute, this Vikings defense is ready to take over. Don't be surprised if they finish as a top 5 unit in 2025 and become one of the driving forces behind Minnesota's Super Bowl push.
Minnesota Vikings, who have done a lot this offseason on that defense.
Have they ever? And they were already a top defense in the football, with defensive coordinator Brian Flores being as inventive as he is when it comes to those exotic blitzes. Again, this team really struggled against the pass, but that interior pass rush now with Jonathan Allen, with also Javon Hargrave, that guy right there, Andrew Van Ginkel, Jonathan Grenard, they're going to be able to get after the passer, which would force and speed up the quarterback's clock, and he'll have to get rid of the ball a lot sooner.
And overall, the 2025 Minnesota Vikings are built to win, plain and simple. With JJ McCarthy finally healthy and ready to lead, they've surrounded him with everything a young QB needs: a revamped offensive line, a retooled run game, and elite weapons in Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and TJ Hockenson. McCarthy's college resume speaks for itself: a national championship, Rose Bowl MVP, and the highest win percentage of any QB prospect out of his class. Now under Kevin O'Connell, and alongside one of the NFL's most talented rosters, he's stepping into the perfect situation for any young QB. And defensively, Brian Flores returns with a unit that's faster, deeper, and nastier than last year, led by star additions like Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave. With elite coaching, a balanced attack, and a QB who thrives under pressure, this Vikings team isn't just a contender. They're a legitimate threat to win the Super Bowl this year. If I had to project the Vikings' record for next season, I'd say I'm genuinely optimistic. Yes, they're facing the 5th toughest schedule in the league, so expect a few bumps along the way. But this team is built to compete right now. I've got them finishing 10-7, firmly in the playoff mix. That said, this might be a pivotal year for the franchise, because if Brian Flores' defense lives up to expectations, and which I believe it will, there's a real chance he's offered a head coaching job elsewhere next offseason. So this could be the last year we see this elite coaching duo together. So the pressure's on, but the pieces are in place. And as we've seen time and time again, under pressure, in the biggest moments, is when McCarthy delivers. And this is why JJ McCarthy will lead the Vikings to their first ever Lombardi Trophy. But that pretty much wraps up this video, so thank you guys for watching. If you made it to the end, please smash that like button and subscribe for more football content just like this. But the Red Zone guy is signing out. Have a great rest of your day, and see you in the next video.
Well, Tiffany, I have an abundance of confidence in JJ McCarthy. It's not just solely about his individual skill set, but it's about his coach, the guy who will be in his ear, the guy who will be able to help mentor him throughout every week in this NFL season, in Kevin O'Connell.